guys, how y'all doing today? Well, I tell you what, it's a beautiful day, and I got the Springer bike on my mind. Let's go do something. So today I'm going to tackle just a few things. I'm going to try to get those motor mounts set in place, and you know, fit it up for alignment with the rear sprocket. Maybe work on the seat attachments a little bit, maybe the gas tank attachments, and if I get that far done, then I'm going to start scrapping around and see what I can find to make my triple trees for the front end. That's going to be a big project, but I need to get started on it or it's never going to happen. Alright, so hang in there and we'll see how it goes. Well, what I started to tackle this morning first thing is this seat, and it's got a little bit of intricacies to it, and I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. You see right here where the backbone is actually sticking up higher than the tailbones? Well, I'm going to cut that off to where it's flush, where you might be able to see that black line there, to kind of give it a more contoured thing. And then I'm going to put a plate on there. I'll fabricate a little plate to cover this and weld it in place, and that will have a hole drilled through it with a nut on the back side, which will serve as the mounting point for the seat mount. It's on a hinge, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever done one of these, but putting these springs on here is real fiddly. Getting that nut in between those coil springs and getting it tight is quite a little achievement. I just wrestled with that and finally got it. But yeah, that's the plan. Here's the seat, and then we'll have to put a stretcher back here, and I'm going to use the same concept as what I did with the motor mounts, with two little bungs coming off, and they'll have a pin sticking up through it with a hole through it for like a, I call them a mouse key pin, but they have a horseshoe pin, I think they're called, and that will hold the springs in place, and that way you can pull the clips out and raise the seat up if you need to. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm getting ready to cut that frame off some and then start making that template. There it is. You can see I got her shaved off. Got a little template made to kind of fit right in there. Because I want it to lay down in there, because that welding bead is going to raise that up a little. You know, let's just get the idea. And I got it drawn out on this piece of steel. I got to drill the hole, cut it out, and then fine tune it and weld it in. There's the piece. Just got to weld the nut on the back, weld it in place, and dress it up. I think that'll be fine. Alright, there's that. What do you think? That's why it takes a long time to build a bike. I've been working on that one little bit probably for a couple hours now. So anyway, that's done, good enough for now, and time to move on. So I had to stop what I was doing and go over to the little market nearby and get some milk for our breakfast and just some soda to have for later. And I'll tell you what, that thing is so much fun, I didn't want to come home. But I gotta go take that milk in the refrigerator. Good times, good times. Okay, so what we have here is, ta-da! Hang on, let me show you something. Alright, what we have here is the spring setup. And the way that works, this is just a stretcher, and I have it barely tack welded in there because I may have to take it out later to do some more modifications to it. But these springs just slip down over these little posts, like so. What I did is drilled a hole all the way through it, big enough for this I had some rod that just happened to fit up inside the springs, like so. And I figured out how long I wanted it. And what I did is I cut them like 2 inches long. And I put them in my drill press chuck and spun them, while at the same time using my grinder and working that edge until I got it good and rounded off. And then I slipped them in here and I plug welded them on the bottom. And you notice the springs go out past it. You flex them a little bit as you put them on there, and that holds them in place. And if you ever bounce up high enough to make that come off of there, you're doing something. I have my motor on the frame and the rear wheel installed, and I'm trying to align the chain with the sprockets so I know where to weld the motor mounts. And I pretty much got it all dialed in to where it looks true, and it's not rubbing, it's not clicking, and everything like that. And I tack welded the motor mounts down in here. But what I also have discovered is, as I thought, by lowering those motor mounts, now my chain is going to want to hit this swing arm. So I'm going to be forced to run a idler sprocket back in here somewhere. But that's okay. I kind of expected that just because of the length, and it's not a big deal. I'll probably make some sort of a floaty one just to keep it up off of there. And yeah, so I'm going to take the motor off, finish welding those up. And because of the way I did that, there's very little adjustment in the motor. Once it's on there, it's on there. So I got to really try to make sure it's... Matter of fact, I may sleep on that tonight and check it again before I finish welding it, so that I don't make a mistake. In case I see something tomorrow that I'm not seeing tonight, you know what I mean? But yeah, coming along slow but sure. Alright, so there we go. I said to heck with it. I went ahead and took the motor off and welded that up. Now I'm just going to let it cool. But while I've got it, the motor off and the motor mount exposed, I'm going to show it to you. There it is. Yeah, that's what it is. And I took the seat off before I did any welding because I didn't want anything to happen to it. So I thought I'd give you another shot of this thing. There's a little bit better look at it. Some angle. Yeah. My motor has got an oil leak, which I'm going to have to get in there and find out what that is. I'm hoping it's just a minor problem. Every time I move it, it's got oil up underneath it. I've tightened a few bolts and stuff on it that are accessible. But I have a feeling I'm going to have to take the covers off and check the gaskets and stuff like that. I may have to work on that governor while I'm in there, you know what I mean? Oh yeah. Anyway, hopefully there's nothing major there. So, I've got this 1/4 inch steel plate. It's 8 inches by 9 inches, and I have a couple other little pieces, and I'm starting to draw a template for my triple trees. And what I'll try to do is, here's where my headstock bolt will be centered at, and just in an effort to make sure I get full swing, I'm going to use an angle. This will be a little bit more rounded out here, but I was just doing a quick geometrical abstract, and I don't know how well that's turning out so visually. At any rate, 1 inch holes for the 1 inch pipe I'm going to use for the down tubes, and yeah, but I need 2 of these, one for the top and one for the bottom, and I have enough for that. However, that does not leave me a third piece to hold the middle section of the springer, because it's going to need to be this wide again, and I don't have that. So I'm going to have to be creative in the way I do this. I could get more steel, but I'd rather just use what I got. And so I'm going to have to give that some thought, and maybe cut this, make this wider, and run one set of springs off of the bottom, which would be okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's going to be plenty of room. It just looks better if it's all right in front of the headstock. You know, both sets of springs. So we'll see how that turns out. So I was talking to my buddy a little while ago, and you remember Little Red, a little 90 Scrambler 4-wheeler? Apparently it'll start, but when you give it gas it dies and he can't ride it. So he's going to be bringing that back by here in a day or two, and we're going to have a look at it. Hopefully we get to ride it. I have a feeling it's just a minor thing in the carburetor or something. Yeah, so that'll be fun. And I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how much more I got in me today. I'm kind of like I don't know. You know, you have moments you just, that's it. I'm out. I'm out of it. I got a lot of work to do, but I just don't feel like tackling another project today. It's already like an hour from being dark, and I'm gonna let that cool before I grind it and clean it up, because I don't want to take the plate off until it cools and does all its, you know, contorting and flexing and stuff, because I don't want it to move. Yeah, thanks for watching. Maybe tomorrow if it's pretty we'll take a ride on a scooter, and I'll show you a little something that I found the other day. Actually Pat found it and she took me and showed me, and we're kind of excited. We're hoping for good things to come from that. That'll be a good treat, and man, if it comes true it'd really be a good treat. Hang on for that, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, huh? One of these days. One of these days. Yeah? Yeah. Alright, be good. I'll see you guys. Oh, see, I told you it was just barely tacked in there. That's embarrassing. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.